Have you ever reached a point where everything you fought for hangs by a single thread? A moment when one decision could save your family, protect your legacy, or destroy everything you've spent your entire life building? That is exactly where Rip Wheeler finds himself as Dutton Ranch reaches its explosive Season 1 finale. Episode 9, titled El Padrino, promises to deliver the most emotional, action-packed, and unforgettable chapter of the season. After weeks of betrayal, sacrifice, hidden agendas, and relentless attacks on the ranch, the final battle is finally here. Welcome back to the channel. If you're a fan of Dutton Ranch, you're in the right place. Today, we're diving deep into everything surrounding Episode 9. We'll break down the biggest storylines, analyze every major character, uncover hidden clues, explore fan theories, and make our predictions about how this incredible first season could end. If you enjoy in-depth TV breakdowns and want more Dutton Ranch content every week, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Now, let's head back to Texas, because the future of the ranch has never looked more uncertain. From the very first episode, Dutton Ranch has made one thing clear: owning land has never simply been about property. For Rip Wheeler, the ranch represents family, loyalty, and the promise of a future worth fighting for. Every sunrise over the fields reminds him of the sacrifices that came before him, while every challenge reminds him that keeping the ranch alive demands constant vigilance. The land carries memories of those who built it, worked it, and gave everything they had to protect it. Losing the ranch would mean losing far more than fences and cattle. It would mean losing the heart of everything Rip believes in. Throughout the season, Rip has been tested in ways few people could survive. Every time he solved one problem, another appeared almost immediately. The disease that devastated the cattle threatened the ranch's financial stability. Political interference created new enemies in places where Rip least expected them. Powerful rivals looked at the struggling ranch not as a family home, but as an opportunity to make money. Yet through every setback, Rip refused to give up. That determination has become the foundation of his character, and it's one of the reasons audiences continue to root for him. But determination alone may not be enough this time. The official synopsis for Episode 9 is surprisingly short. It simply states that Rip and Beth confront a danger that threatens everything. At first glance, that sentence seems almost too simple. Yet when you think about everything that has happened throughout Season 1, those few words suddenly become much more ominous. What exactly is this danger? Is it another attack on the ranch? Is it a betrayal from someone Rip trusts? One of the biggest strengths of Dutton Ranch has been its ability to hide the true threat behind smaller conflicts. Early in the season, viewers believed the biggest problem was the disease spreading through the cattle. Then attention shifted toward financial pressures. Soon after, tensions with neighboring ranches escalated into open hostility. Every time the audience thought they understood the real conflict, another layer was revealed. That storytelling approach makes Episode 9 especially exciting because it suggests the final twist could be the biggest surprise yet. Standing beside Rip through every challenge has been Beth Dutton. If Rip represents the muscle of the ranch, Beth represents its mind. She approaches problems differently than Rip does. While he focuses on immediate threats, Beth thinks several steps ahead. She studies people, notices details others ignore, and understands that information can be just as powerful as physical strength. This season has shown Beth quietly collecting pieces of a much larger puzzle, and Episode May 9 finally reveal the complete picture. Beth has never accepted easy explanations. When others believed the cattle disease was simply an unfortunate accident, she questioned the timing. When business deals suddenly collapsed, she suspected manipulation. When attacks against the ranch became more coordinated, she realized someone might be pulling the strings from behind the scenes. Her instincts have repeatedly proven correct, making her investigation one of the most important storylines heading into the finale. If Beth uncovers the truth, it could completely change how viewers see the entire season. Perhaps the disease wasn't random. Perhaps the financial pressure wasn't coincidental. Perhaps every attack, every setback, and every conflict has been carefully orchestrated by someone determined to force the Dutton family off their land. That possibility makes episode 9 much more than a simple showdown between heroes and villains. Instead, it becomes the moment when every hidden secret finally comes into the light. Then there's Carter, whose journey has quietly become one of the show's most emotional storylines. When he first arrived at the ranch, he was angry, lost, and unsure whether he belonged anywhere. Life had taught him to expect disappointment, making it difficult for him to trust the people trying to help him. Rip recognized something of his younger self in Carter, and rather than treating him with sympathy alone, he offered something much more valuable: responsibility. Working on the ranch changed Carter in ways he never expected. Every difficult task taught him discipline. Every mistake became a lesson. Every conversation with Rip slowly built the confidence he had been missing for years. Instead of becoming another victim of circumstance, Carter began transforming into someone capable of protecting others rather than all. Episode 9 is expected to push Carter further than ever before. There comes a moment in every coming-of-age story when a young person must stop following and begin leading. Carter may face exactly that challenge in the finale. If the ranch comes under attack, Rip cannot protect everyone at once. Someone else will have to step forward. Someone else will have to prove they have truly earned their place within the family. That opportunity may belong to Carter. Meanwhile, Robb Will continues to emerge as one of the most dangerous opponents Rip has ever faced. Unlike enemies who rely only on intimidation, Robb Will understand strategy. He knows that the quickest way to destroy a family is to destroy the trust holding it together. Throughout the season, he has taken advantage of fear, uncertainty, and division. He has manipulated situations until people questioned one another instead of focusing on the real threat. That makes him especially dangerous because battles are not always won with guns or fists. Sometimes they're won by convincing your opponent they've already lost. Robb Will believes Rip is running out of options. He believes the ranch is weaker than ever before. He believes pressure from every direction will eventually force Rip to surrender. But one thing Robb Will still doesn't understand is that Rip Wheeler has built his entire life on surviving impossible situations. Every hardship has made him stronger, not weaker. As episode 9 begins, the atmosphere around the ranch is expected to feel different from anything we've seen before. The workers understand something major is coming. Conversations become quieter. Horses are prepared earlier than usual. Equipment is checked twice. Every person senses the calm before the storm, even if they cannot yet see where the first strike will come from. For Rip, this isn't just another day of protecting fences or moving cattle. It's the day that may decide whether the ranch has a future at all. And as the sun rises over the Texas landscape, no one realizes that by the time it sets, lives will be changed forever. In part 2, the tension escalates as Rip prepares the ranch for war. Beth uncovers a shocking lead that could expose the mastermind behind the attacks, and Robb Will launches the first move in a confrontation that could determine the fate of everyone on the ranch. As dawn settles over the ranch, there is an unusual silence in the air. The familiar sounds of horses moving through the corrals and ranch hands preparing for another day's work are still there, but something feels different. No one laughs over morning coffee. No one wastes time talking about yesterday's work. Every face carries the same expression. They know trouble is coming. Rip Wheeler notices it immediately. Years of experience have taught him to recognize the feeling that settles over a ranch before everything changes. Sometimes danger announces itself with loud threats and obvious warnings. Other times it arrives quietly, hiding behind calm skies and peaceful mornings. Rip has learned never to trust that kind of silence. He walks across the property before sunrise, checking every gate, every fence line, and every entrance to the ranch. He speaks to each ranch hand individually, making sure everyone understands their responsibilities if things go wrong. His voice remains calm, but the seriousness in his eyes tells the story. This isn't routine. This is preparation. The men working alongside Rip have followed him long enough to understand what that means. They don't ask unnecessary questions. Instead, they begin securing equipment, moving livestock into safer pastures, and making sure the most vulnerable parts of the ranch are protected. Every task is completed with purpose because everyone understands that hesitation can be deadly. Rip doesn't believe in panic. He believes in preparation. That philosophy has kept him alive through countless conflicts, and now it may be the only thing standing between the Dutton family and complete disaster. Inside the ranch house, Beth is already awake. Unlike Rip, whose instincts tell him to prepare for a physical confrontation, Beth's attention is focused elsewhere. The documents spread across the dining room table represent weeks of research. Financial statements, land records, phone logs, business agreements, and newspaper clippings are arranged carefully, each one connected to another piece of the puzzle. She studies the evidence once again. Something still doesn't fit. Every attack on the ranch has seemed independent at first. The disease that devastated the cattle. The financial pressure placed on local suppliers. The legal disputes over land ownership. Even Rob Will's aggressive moves against Rip. Separately, each event appears explainable. Together, they form a pattern. Beth traces her finger across one document before reaching for another. Suddenly she notices a familiar name appearing again and again. It isn't Rob Will. It isn't anyone directly connected to the ranch. Instead, it's someone operating quietly behind the scenes, appearing only where money changes hands or property ownership shifts. Beth leans back in her chair. For the first time all season, she begins to understand that Rob Will may not be the mastermind after all. He could simply be another piece on someone else's chessboard. If she's right, defeating Rob Will won't end this fight. It will only reveal the person who started it. Without wasting another second, Beth grabs her phone and begins making calls. She reaches out to an old contact who owes her a favor, asking them to verify ownership records connected to several shell companies. She doesn't explain why. She doesn't have time. Every minute matters. Meanwhile, Carter begins his morning chores, trying to focus on work despite the growing tension surrounding the ranch. He's noticed the worried expressions on everyone's faces. He sees Rip inspecting the property more carefully than usual. He watches Beth leave the house carrying files instead of breakfast. Even without anyone saying it aloud, Carter understands something serious is happening. Over the past several months, the ranch has become more than just a place to live. It has become his home. For the first time in years, he feels like he belongs somewhere. That thought frightens him, because now he has something to lose. Rip eventually finds Carter repairing a section of fence damaged during the previous night's storm. Without saying anything, Rip picks up a hammer and begins helping him. For several minutes, neither of them speaks. The only sounds are nails striking wood and the wind moving through the grass. Finally, Rip breaks the silence. He tells Carter that fear isn't something to be ashamed of. Everyone gets scared. The difference between strong people and weak people isn't whether they feel fear. It's what they do after feeling it. Rip explains that courage isn't the absence of fear. Courage is choosing to move forward despite it. Carter listens carefully. He realizes Rip isn't simply giving advice. He's preparing him. Preparing him for something neither of them wants to discuss. Across town, Rob Will sits inside his office overlooking several hundred acres of land he hopes will soon belong entirely to him. Unlike Rip, Rob Will begins his day with confidence. Everything has gone according to plan so far. The Dutton Ranch has suffered financial losses. Supplies have become increasingly difficult to secure. Morale among the workers has weakened. Pressure from investors continues to grow. From Rob Will's perspective, victory feels inevitable. But even the most confident people can become dangerous when they underestimate their opponents. One of Rob Will's associates enters the room carrying new information. Beth Dutton has been asking questions. Not ordinary questions. Specific questions. Questions about business records and ownership structures. Rob Will's smile disappears. For the first time all morning, uncertainty crosses his face. He understands Beth's reputation. She doesn't investigate unless she's already found something important. If she keeps digging, years of carefully hidden secrets could be exposed. Rob Will immediately changes his plans. Instead of waiting for events to unfold naturally, he decides it's time to force the confrontation. Back at the ranch, Rip gathers everyone together. He doesn't deliver an emotional speech. He doesn't promise an easy victory. Instead, he reminds them why they're here. This ranch wasn't built by people looking for comfort. It was built by men and women willing to work through hardship, protect one another, and stand together when others expected them to fall apart. That legacy belongs to every person standing there. No matter what happens next, they face it together. Those simple words have a powerful effect. Fear doesn't disappear. But determination grows stronger. Beth returns just as the meeting ends. She asks Rip to step aside. The expression on her face tells him everything before she even speaks. She's found something. Something big. Beth quietly explains that multiple companies involved in recent attacks on the ranch are connected through a hidden network of financial partnerships. On paper, they appear unrelated. In reality, they're controlled by the same people. Someone has been buying influence across the region for years, quietly positioning themselves to seize valuable ranch land without attracting attention. The attacks against the Dutton Ranch were never personal. They were business. Rip absorbs the information in silence. For a moment, he realizes how much larger this fight has become. They aren't battling one rival rancher anymore. They're standing against an organization with money, political connections, and enough influence to reshape the entire region. Beth looks directly at Rip. If we expose them, she says, they'll come after us with everything they've got. Rip doesn't hesitate. They already are. As the afternoon sun begins to sink lower across the Texas plains, dust rises along the distant road leading toward the ranch. Several trucks appear on the horizon. No one knows exactly who's inside them. But everyone understands one thing. The waiting is over. The final confrontation has begun. In Part 3, the first clash erupts at the ranch. Beth uncovers the true architect behind the conspiracy. Carter is forced into his first real act of heroism, and Rip faces the most difficult decision of his life. The dust cloud rolling toward the ranch grows larger with every passing second. Engines rumble across the open countryside, breaking the eerie silence that has hung over the property all morning. Every ranch hand stops what they're doing and turns toward the entrance. Rip doesn't panic. He simply watches. His eyes follow the convoy as it approaches the front gate. Years of experience have taught him that the first move in any confrontation often reveals more than words ever could. Whoever is coming wants to make a statement. Beth steps onto the porch beside him. Neither of them speaks. They don't need to. After everything they've survived together, a single glance is enough to understand what the other is thinking. This is the moment they've been preparing for. The trucks finally stop just outside the ranch entrance. Doors open. Several men step out, dressed like ranch workers, but there's something different about them. Their movements are too coordinated. Their expressions are too confident. These aren't ordinary laborers. At the center of the group stands Rob Will. He slowly removes his sunglasses and smiles. It isn't the smile of someone greeting an old friend.